On 2, 1, 2,
Bats! Let's fucking take our shit and go, boys.
Last one, boys, everybody. The massive box with a bunch of 6-pack boxes in the container. Hang on, you know. Before we do that, we've said this already today. This is a game that we can win. We've spoken about it for a fortnight, but they've done the same. They fancy this as well today. So we've got to put everything into practice. Every frustration that we have ever felt in not winning a game so far this season, we've got to come out on that field today. Hit the pitches you can swing at. Hit them. Work hard. If you make an error, don't compound it by making another error. It's better to let the batter take first than us trying to get him out, throwing it over Nick's head, and whatever's on first, and then we give him an easy over second. Don't compound one with another one. So let's work really hard at it today and we can win this today. I want to thank everybody who's coming from the Metalheads, G and Mike for coming out to watch us. Thank John for the stats that he's going to do. We're going to rely on him again today. We're also going to rely on every single person who's in this 14 today to bring home my first fucking bats today. Right? This is happening today. Zach's going to...
Yeah, you know I like to see it. You know I like to see it.
Till there, man. Good shit.
I didn't even see that one.
Might as well go.
Yeah.
And let's actually show that. And I do feel good. It looks like a fucking good day out there, so let's play baseball. So starting at 1, you guys know the rules, no taps. Again, I don't know why you gave this to me. So batting first, second field, Stephen.
Bats!
Batting second, shortstop, Nathan.
Bats!
Batting third, pitcher, Triple A, James.
Bats!
Batting fourth, third base, Liam.
Bats!
Batting fifth, right field, Amal.
Bats!
Batting sixth, second base, Danny.
Bats!
Batting seventh, first base, Nick.
Bats!
Batting eighth, left field, Kyle.
Bats!
Batting ninth, catcher, Joshua.
Bats!
So the bench, Alex.
Bats!
Danny.
Bats!
Zach.
Bats!
Lee.
Bats!
Luke.
Bats!
Let's play baseball.
In,
Get
boys.
in.
This is all I got to fucking say about today. This is all I got to fucking say about today. You fucking won me a game.
Yeah!
Blue on 3, 1, 2, 3. Blue! Chasers on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Chasers!
John on 3, 1, 2, 3.
John!
Bats on fucking 2.
Loudest one!
1, 2,
Bats! This is actually the reason why we're doing this whole document. To film me working out.
Yeah, for me, the physical side is really important. I know a lot of people think that in baseball you don't need to be a real superstar athlete or anything. Of course, that is partially true. Especially for me though, because I'm so determined to sort of prove myself and compete at the highest level. You know, I'm not naive to the fact to, you know, that many of the people on like the Metalheads and at this level in like Triple A are coming with way more experience than me. You know, I didn't put a baseball glove on until I was 30 years old, and some of the guys in this team like Andres, Ray, Armando, Bob, you know, Carlos, they've got 25, 30 years experience in the sport. We only, you know, we're amateur, we only get to train a few hours a week. The reality is, no matter how hard I try at training, I'm probably never going to get to the like sort of technical ability of those guys, you know, and experience in the game that they've got. So the way that I have to do this is to be physically on top of my game. It's being fast, it's being strong. You know, my technique might not be as good, but when I hit the ball hard because I can swing fast. You know, I can chase down fly balls that other people can't because I train for speed. On the bases, I can steal bases, I can base run like So like some other people can't, because I train to be fit and strong and fast. I think like the classic thing is that, yeah, people see some of the physiques in MLB and they think, you know, you don't have to do any of this working out, which said is partially true, but it always benefits people, right? You know, if you've got somebody who's really good at baseball, you've got somebody who's really good at baseball and they're in really good shape, they're going to win 9 times out of 10. You know, people should probably train more in baseball as well. You know, like, it sort of really annoys me when you see people get these injuries that just a little bit of strength training, just a bit of sprinting would, you know, they'd probably just go away. The way I see it is, like I said, we get to train a couple of hours a week. If you're putting in even just another 2 hours every week, you're doubling the amount of work that your competition is doing. And you never know, like me, if you hone those physical abilities, you might get to stick around long enough to become okay at baseball as well.
You know, we've had the pleasure of hosting Leicester, who have come down for a development game. We do tell all the guys, look, come down as often as possible, even if we do have bye weeks, try and do some extra stuff. And a development game was the perfect way to sort of hit the nail on the head with what we want. So the aim of this was to get practice squad players who have never played in a game their first look of what it's like to represent Birmingham on the field, and for Bats players to get extra innings and extra reps where they haven't been playing as often as they would have wanted to in the WNBL. So we do tell people best practice is to come to as many sessions as possible, but there is nothing that will ever replicate what it's like to play in a game. So the best way to grow as a player is to get as much game time as possible, to be on the field, to take stuff in at game speed, to be held accountable for your errors, and to make plays with live pitching. And obviously, we really did enjoy that. We made it a point of like, look, keep the energy up, keep the spirit up, let's keep the hustle up, and let's maintain a certain standard for baseball. But most important, it would be to keep the vibes up, you know, to enjoy ourselves. It was a beautiful day out here, and yeah, we really are happy with what we've seen today, you know, and it's obviously a real bonus to come out with a win, regardless of being here for development. Winning is still the most important thing. So baseball did win, but we want to. So that's perfect.
It's been a really good day. So we've had new guys come along. First time they've ever played a game of baseball before. We've got Bats players developing. We've had some guys coming back as well that haven't played for a few seasons. So it's been a really successful day. I think it was good for the existing Bats players to get reps and to try new positions. It was good for the newer guys to get that experience behind the plate as well. So, you know, actually experience pitching against, hitting against live pitchers, get that experience, you know, finding a comfortable position, you know, whether you feel like you want to go into outfield or whether you want to play first, second, third. Catcher, we really need catchers. I think that's a position that's quite difficult to get involved with.
Oh, they're looking at pickoff now.
I think the key thing for me was that we've actually got the people that want to step up and organise these things. So today it was sort of Zach. He was leading as this kind of head coach manager. I was helping out as well. I think the fact that we've got that kind of depth of squad, because obviously this was something that was organised on Father's Day. You know, our regular squad, not a lot of people were available. They've got other plans, but we still had enough people to fill the team and get those reps in as well. And it was, I think for me as well, being the club secretary, I kind of, I'm the first point of contact for a lot of the guys that email the club wanting to get involved. And it was great seeing some of those people who, you know, a few weeks ago sent me an email that have come along to training, that have wanted to join the club, and now they're playing a game and getting involved as well. So it's been really good. I hope we can get some more of these in for the rest of the year. and yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, so we've just wrapped up our first ever play pitch game. We're here in Northampton's field, some players in the background. Yeah, we had our first game in Leicester a few weeks ago, which was coach pitch, and this is a great experience for our players, especially the older players who are in U12 and U14, to get that player pitch experience as they move up the levels. And yeah, a lot of learning points, but the main thing for us is just having fun. There's a lot of different teams out here, so it's always important, I think, for our young people to know that there exists baseball outside of just Birmingham. Again, the focus will be on just having fun, trying our best, trying to put some runs on the board, but the priority is figure out what we need to work on and what we need to do to get better. And yeah, should be a good rest of the day. Hopefully the weather stays as it is.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask me how I got into sports photography. And I was thinking about this, and I think it started with my gran. When I was a kid, I lived at hers for a bit, and she was studying photography at the time. And she had a spare room that she'd converted into a dark room so she could process her own film. You know, she had the red light and the different trays with the chemicals and the pictures hanging up. And I remember seeing that as a kid and being intrigued by it. And I liked the way that you could be creative with capturing the world as a sort of like frozen point in time. I think in the beginning I really wanted to photograph the moon, so I got a telephoto lens just secondhand on eBay. And that's how it kind of began. And then at the time, my now husband Gareth, he played American football, and I thought, well, I should try my hand at sports photography and make use of the telephoto lens I'd bought. So it all started there, really. I enjoy being, as I said, I enjoy being the person taking the photo rather than the actual subject. I'm quite a shy, quiet person naturally, and so I think it's my way of communicating, I guess, and it allows me to be part of a team, even though I'm quite a shy character. So I really enjoy that team spirit. It's probably the thing I enjoy most, actually, about shooting the baseball, that we feel like a really nice community and that's growing, and it's very positive, and you come away from it with a positive feeling. And the greatest thing about it for me is being able to photograph the action and the candid kind of moments that might be leading up to a game or on the sideline. I love being able to capture like what's happening on the field, but also the kind of camaraderie between the players, and knowing that the team have got something that when they finish their baseball career, they can go back and have a look at those photos, and it serves as a reminder of what they achieved during that time, and they can be proud of that moment. The photos I really like getting are the ones that are a bit subtle and harder to kind of find. So you're sort of looking for those moments between people, like those moments of joy, those moments of shared experience. So I think one of my favourite photos that I ever took actually was when last year the Metalheads won the Summer Cup, and I just I wasn't even really ready in the place that would have been best to take the shot, but I just thought I need to just aim and I just need to click, because they can't rewind and do this again. So I just turned a point, and it really was a point and shoot, and I got this photo of everybody celebrating that they just won that, and it was such a candid and natural expressions on people's faces, nothing staged, just like the raw emotion. And those are the things that I always want to capture as a sports photographer.
Maybe take 2 balls each in case you lose any. Yeah, not too much.
Since the winter, we've had lots of sunny sessions out here on the field. Started to grow the numbers. We're nearly averaging in the double digits every week, which is great to see. We started with all the basics in the infield. Now we're moving on to the outfield, and we've also done a few pitching sessions. We've got some great arms coming through. Really good to see everyone coming out, and we've become quite a good little team.
There we go. That's what you don't need to make the noises. I didn't throw it far enough.
So yeah, looking forward to the winter where we'll get back inside again and hopefully build our numbers and be ready next year to take on some friendlies with other teams.
Sorry, that's me. Take it home. Take another. Hey, here we go.
Hi, so yeah, season so far, as you said, we've come to the start of August, so you know, majority of the season's done, coming into our last full month. See things start winding down towards the end of September. Just first few words about, you know, Metalheads. We all knew it would be a big step up to AAA. We knew it was always going to be some, you know, learning experiences, and I think this year the impression I've got is that there's been lots of great learning experiences, you know, from the away games, the travel, people getting used to that, going to see, you know, people getting to see different ballparks. But also, you know, people coming to Marston Green for the first time and being able to show off this club to a wider audience. Really enjoyed seeing some new faces come to Marston Green, you know, the players and coaches from the other teams, and, you know, some of the new officials as well from BBF. So it's been great being able to, you know, to showcase what we do here, what we're about as a club. Yeah, so it's really good. Season started slowly, but, you know, we've started getting wins against, we've got a win against, at least one win against every team now in our division. And I think that shows that, you know, we've been showing that we belong. You know, there's been some really close games as well. There's 4 games at home this year in the regular season that was, you know, we either won or lost by one game, by one run. So that's you know, that shows how close to some of the games have been. The Pythagorean expectation, got to have an advanced stat in there around the stats man. Of course, it's my job, and it shows that we're about 1 win behind where expected. You know, the expected wins from runs scored and runs against from the latest formula. So hopefully we can, you know, push on for the rest of the season now. On offense, you know, some real highlights. So, you know, Andres, you know, and Barb leading the way. You know, like with 20 and 18 hits respectively. You know, a good number of walks between them as well. And, you know, stolen bases, you know, Andres again, you know, he's a ball player, you know, and he's tied, of course, as you'd expect with GT on stolen bases, you know, with 12 each at this point in time. Looking at the advanced stats, there is a difference between the expected and the actual production on offense. This could be down to a number of things. Could be, you know, situational hitting, effective base running, or, you know, or could be even down to a bit of luck, but I'll be looking further, you know, into, you know, the stats towards the end of the season as well, in the off season, to see, you know, where we can see if we can explain this. And so now onto the bats. So some, you know, from the bats again, another one. It's a recurring theme here of a slow start to the season. Lost the first 4 games, and then on a run of 5 wins, aided by the weather in between as well. Probably a couple of games where maybe probably thought it would be a bit more tricky to win, maybe. That's no disrespect to anybody, but But standouts, the standout, there's been some big differences between the first 4 games and the last 5 games. First of all is pitching, so James Marshall. He had a great winter. He'd been showing some real great progress over the winter, particularly with his pitching. And obviously he's been able to translate that, from what he was showing the promise last year onto actually the field this year, which is fantastic. I think for the bats now, he just needs to make sure that they've got other pitchers coming through behind him to support. So it's having that strength and depth. The game that they're doing today against the Long Eaton Storm, they've got more than one frontline pitcher, and that's we showed it with the Metalheads last year. We had more than one frontline pitcher. We've shown at AAA you need more than one frontline pitcher. And when you've got that strength and depth, that's one of the keys to winning championships, winning ball games, to winning championships. Standouts on offense, well, Carl McKenzie, saw him in a pre-season game, in a pre-season friendly, and hit a double up the middle. The guy's never played before, and it's clear that talent from the start. There's a couple of us looked and we went, the guy's got talent clearly, keeps working at it, keeps turning up to training, keeps going to games, keeps showing, and I think he's trying to break a record for the most number of doubles hit, and hitting a home run as well in his rookie season. But I think he's trying to break a record for extra base hits for an absolute true rookie. For me, looks held on for Rookie of the Year. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get it. But it's not just one player there. You've got Nick Schultz. He's an ever present, and he's been in the game now for a number of years. He's been with the club for a number of years, and I think this year really is his best season for hitting by a long stretch. And he would admit that as well. And he came and talked to me. He says, I've discovered this, I've been able to hit balls. It's great. It's fantastic. So really good to see. Another one I've got to do a shout out, because he won't forgive me if I don't mention him, is Stephen Higgs, back centre fielder. I think he just proves you can take the sport up in later life. Sorry, Stephen, but he's in his 50s. Can show up take up the sport and show improvement within your first 2 or 3 years and do a great job. Advanced stats, of course, this is what I do, it's my job. So Pythagorean expectation shows the bats are outperforming. So it could be a number of things, but it could be, potentially show they've been probably a little bit fortunate to get a win here or there. And from what I've seen, I could almost back that up with, from what I've seen on the field. But they fully deserved the wins, just, the ones that they have and they've won comfortably, they fully deserved. Big difference between the expected and actual offensive production. So this could show that they've been very effective at base running, or very effective in, critical situational, situations on offense, getting key hits, clutch hits, if you want to say that there. Or again, could always be a bit of good luck as well. But we're looking forward to the end of the season now. Hopefully both teams finishing strong, and it's never want the season to end, so but it always does. But it just means that we've got an excuse to go again next year.